So during that 6 years, you're competing.
Yes.
So what made you decide you're going to come to the U.S.?
So, oh my God, there were so many things going on back then. My ex-husband, who was my boyfriend back then, he wanted me to come to the United States. But I had so much going on for me in Venezuela. I was part of the national team. I loved to travel over the world. I was having such a great time. And then simultaneously, we had a new government. It was socialist government, Hugo Chavez. And at first, he was like, oh, this is not a big deal. We're just going to change. We're fighting for people, and we're going to do this for the people, whatever. But as time went on, he started putting restrictions on firearms. But the way they did it was creating a chokehold on gun shops and gun ranges. Okay, so especially gun shops. So now they put a restriction on importation.
Okay.
And the importation not only firearms but also ammunition. Then they concentrated all that to the government. They created this like an entity, government entity that was going to handle all that stuff. So obviously, what they did, the government killed the business.
Sure.
Right, and make it a more bureaucracy now. And it was more difficult for people to apply because it's not like here you go to your gun shop, they can help you apply, blah, blah, blah. So imagine if us here, but let's say somebody who lives in Texas, right? If the government take that power and says, oh no, now you have to go to DC.
Right.
Right? Not everybody has the means to travel to DC to get a concealed carry. So imagine that back in Venezuela. Obviously, even though I was shooting pellets in 22, we were affected too, big time. And I felt it. I was, practicing for the Olympic Games for Sydney 2000. And my coach was like, okay, man, like 2, 3, 10 pellets at a time. And we were like, we're here to train for the Olympics.
Sure.
We need a little bit more than that. And I have to say, we still had support. But for the most part, it was somewhat difficult, and we had to fight a lot to get it. Okay. So that created that thing in my mind that the sport, shooting, it was kind of my world.
Right.
And then turns out that the government couldn't take it away.
Right. Just like that.
And so I thought, you know what, let's say that I went to the Olympic Games and all that stuff. Comes to 2002, and I even won 3 gold medals in Brazil. That was my last international competition, the South American Games. And I realized that even though I was Olympic hope for Athens 2004, I was like, let's say I win a medal. Let's say. That would be the best case scenario. I win a medal. And I go back to Venezuela. What am I going to do with that medal?
Right.
What is that medal going to give me? Okay, here's a medal, but in reality, I don't need with it.
You have to give it to Hugo.
I'll probably have to sell it, you know. So, and not only that, there was a good friend of mine a guy who we met in different international competitions, in the games, South American games. So people from different sports, we meet together and all that stuff. So he was a boxer. He was 35 when I met him, or 34, I think. And after Sydney, the boxing dropped the age. Okay, so if I have the ages mixed up, I just don't remember exactly.
Sure.
But the ages were dropped. And so it meant that he was not going to be able to be at the following Olympics. Okay, he was not going to make it. And time passed. I didn't know any of it until one day I saw him at the Villa in Venezuela, where most athletes lived, many athletes lived and stuff. And he was a security guard.
Wow. So he was Olympian to just a security guard.
A security guard, right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and he was like super nice, hey, whatever. I'm like, dude, what are you doing as a security guard? And so explain that to me. And in my head was like, you should be the coach or the assistant at least of these coaches and stuff. But the thing is that Venezuela is different than the United States in that sense. So he was just a security guard. So I thought, wow. I have given so much to the sport. Not only because I have given to it, it has been also my pride, and I loved it, right? But I have given so much of my life, even just dedicated.
Complete episode available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. New Green Ops podcast episodes available every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content.